you to yourself for always showing up. Tell yourself you are proud of yourself. Yes. Well done. Please, let's go ahead and do it. Just say something nice to yourself and say thank you. So this afternoon, we are going to learn the ABC of getting out of debt. Now, that is amazing. So if you know someone that needs to be here, someone that needs to hear this, someone that this will be very, very beneficial to, you want to send them the link to today's program so that they can come up and hear what our renowned expert in financial empowerment is going to do to us. If you are here last week, you knew what Mr. Gosh will do to our mind. So today we are having a woman in the house. And of course, I'm not going to introduce her. I will leave her to hear, but I want to tell her that she's here to share with us practical steps and wisdom to change our life. You can be sure of that. I've listened to her a few times. Even the latest was, I think, about 2 weeks ago. And our messages are always simple, but they are very, very effective. So we're about to be empowered to walk away with actionable steps and a renewed sense of hope for our financial future. So to do the honors of introducing her, I want to hand over to Pierre while he does that. Hello, Pierre. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie. Good morning, everyone. Good to be here with all of you. How are you doing? Well, it's a bright morning here in Alvin, Texas, and I'm super excited with what we're sharing today. Okay, how are you guys doing? From wherever you're joining us from, you know, how we do it in the house of saviors. You know, we determine what happens everywhere we go. You know, we create solutions for our world. So I want to appreciate you. Okay, Adam said I look amazing. Thank you very much. We keep getting younger every day. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have joined, and kindly share the invitation with your friends. You know, we love it when your friends show up here, right? So kindly inform someone, get your link, get on your link, send to your family, send to your friends, send to the leaders, you know, who need to be at this meeting today. I mean, that should be a norm right now. And we're really, really grateful for the gift of you. Thank you for always inviting people to this meeting. Well, technically, today it's supposed to be our 2nd year anniversary of, you know, running House of Saviors. We actually started at about this time 2 years ago. And every Sunday we've sustained this meeting. Thank you very much for showing up. I know that you guys have amazing testimonies. We receive them regularly based on what we share here. But next week, we will talk more about our 2nd year, and then we'll talk about our cooperative, right? And so thank you very much for always showing up. Happy anniversary to all of us for keeping it real and sustaining this. Like we have always said, you know, this Sunday meeting, you know, it's not going to be something that's going to last forever, right? We're going to decentralize, and every region will take their independence very soon. You know, then maybe we'll just meet maybe once in a while and stuff. But I'm really, really grateful for the gift of you. So today, this month is dedicated to our family, our finances. And so we've had Fisayo, and then we've had Mr. Goswell. Goswell Monakwe, amazing teacher. One of my financial coaches, right? Today we're looking at the subject of debt. I don't know how many of us here are in debt. I mean, if you live in the Western world, debt is almost like a normal thing, right? We call it leverage. However, you know, if you're not careful, people buy a house, for example, in America, and they have 30 years to pay back, right? So you see people at 70, at 80, they're still working because they're thinking about their mortgage. And if you default on your bills, of course, you know the implication. It's not a place where you can begin to beg and appeal and stuff, right? And you don't want to go through that, right? But in Africa, a lot of people who don't need to get a loan, right? Getting the loan is not a problem. Paying back is a big issue. So a man of God, in quotes, came to America one year, and he started teaching on if you are owing whatever debt you are owing, they will cancel your debt. They will cancel your debt. And it was, a white woman stood up in that service and, almost scattered the church to say, why are you asking for God to cancel people's debt? When you took the loan, didn't you know you were going to pay back and stuff? No. And you see, the cancellation of that debt means they should come and sow so that the debt. So the white woman was like, no, why should they give to cancel a debt? Can't they go and, what they have to give, they should go and give it back as part of, the repayment plan and stuff like that. It was an embarrassment. I saw the video and I started laughing, right? That oftentimes people are quick to borrow, but people are often unwilling to pay back. I'm sure that all of you in this meeting, let me do a simple survey. You have someone who is owing you, who is avoiding you, or who is thinking that you have forgotten about what they are owing you. Can you type hi? Let me see. You have someone who is owing you, but the person is avoiding you, or is running away, or is even pretending as if, that they are not owing you. Okay, so, oh my God, see how many people are being owed. Okay, so you can say, that's the way our people are. I have people who are owing me who have never paid back in 12 years, right? I used to have someone who, would come and take a loan. Then one day, came to announce that he bought a new car. And I kept thinking, is this guy unaware that he's still owing me? And for some of them, because you don't want to destroy friendship, you just lie. For some of them, they will even tell you, are we not Christian brothers together? Are we not this together? Excuse me. I expect you to have integrity. And we don't want to go in the direction of spouses who say, can you just give me a loan of 10K there, of 100K there? I'll pay you back. Some of those loans will enter voicemail. So if your spouse tells you, give me a loan of 100K, it's voicemail, so, but you see, when I tell people, give me a loan of 10K, I'm going to pay you back, really, because I'm not never to rest until I pay back, and that's why these days when people ask me for money, loan, I just give them what I can afford that I won't remember, because over time, a lot of people never pay their debt. Now, over time, you see in Nigeria, there are these apps right now, if you are owing them, they will put your name, they will even do obituary. That's an extreme. They will do obituary to announce that you are dead or you went to grave with the money. And so sometimes, curiously, there was someone's name. I don't know how my name got in there. Maybe they will check their phone number, but the person, the message got to me. So I had to ask this lady, how much exactly are you owing that they are doing obituary for you? And I found out that what she borrowed was like 40,000 naira. Right? So I was like, what? So I had to give her that money to say, go and pay. This is not befitting. And you should never get into that, this kind of thing. So today, we're going to be talking about how to get out of debt, right? And trust me, Oluwatosin Praise-Fowowe is taking this session today. That's my wife. And I'm really privileged to be introducing her because she taught me a whole lot about, money management, about how to live on a budget and stuff. I learned those things from her because I was never that kind of person, but if there's someone I've seen work with people consistently to get out of debt, with amazing testimonies, almost as if she has an anointing for it, that's Tosin. So please, House of Saviors, let's go to the chat box and make welcome Mrs. Oluwatosin Praise-Fowowe, my amazing wife. I love her so much. Okay, so let's welcome TPF. We call her TPF. TPF, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to the meeting. Where is she, admin?
Thank you.
Light R. Okay.
Uncle Will, thank you so much, sir. I salute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but I can't see you yet. Where is your beautiful?
Sorry, apologies. My video was not on. Okay. No, that's not so good. Is it okay now?
Yeah, I think it's better. Maybe we need some illumination where you are.
Yeah, just 1 minute.
Okay, House of Saviors, get ready to learn how to get out of debt. Okay, I can see that you guys are already inviting some of your friends. Please invite them more. Bring your friends because you will surely get out of debt. Okay. I love it when I listen. Okay, so
okay, I'm back. I hope this is better. Okay, thank you, PF, for the introduction. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you, we can hear you.
Okay, so thank you so much, PF, for the introduction there. Uncle Will, thank you very much. Your session last week was super, super amazing. So I'll dive right into today's session. And I'm hoping that at the end of today's session, you would have, discovered, developed, and deployed the right strategies for your finances, especially getting out of debt today. And so for some of us, this might be something that you don't personally need. It might be information that your friend, your family member, your colleague at work might need. So there's no knowledge lost. I've learned quickly over time that knowledge that you gain in your life or through your life experience come in handy at some point in your life. I've learned different things about different topics in life that are useful for me today. So I just want to say thank you for having me, even though I'm a member of House of Saviors, but it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to teach this family once again about our finances. So somebody did put in the chat room earlier on that I'm not in debt, and it's something I've always avoided. There are different ways to look at debt, and I quickly wanted to touch on that before I go into what I have for today. And it's the way we look at debt that's really very important. Debt is leverage. PF already made mention about that. We cannot totally avoid debt, especially if you live in the Western world. If you live in the UK, Germany, Australia, wherever you are, maybe some part of Africa as well, you cannot totally avoid it, because if you want to buy your house, except you have the cash down to buy a $400,000 worth of house or $1 million worth of house, then go ahead. Because we know, for example, in Nigeria, we are in a cash economy, but not so much in the Western world. So debt is leverage, and you just need to know how to use it to your advantage. I remember that, I think it was Out of Saviors, North America, where I was teaching about credit management. Credit is a form of debt, and if you use it properly, it can help you to build your finances. But you really need to know how to do it, because in this part of the world, your credit score is like your blood. It's important to have a credit score. Well, at the beginning of your financial journey, it will get to some point in your financial life or in your financial journey that it's really not that important. But what I wanted to address there is the mindset that you have towards debt. You can use debt to achieve a lot of things in your journey, in your business life, in your financial life, in your personal life, and in your business life. Okay, so debt is not something to look at as something that is bad if you understand how to use it. It's something that if you know the right strategies to deploy, you would actually gain much leverage and do a lot more things faster than most other people would. So I remember when I think this was early last year, I had one of my younger, we call them Aburos. She's not related to me by blood, but she's important to me. So she reached out early last year, thereabouts, I guess, when she first moved to the UK. And she said, TPF, they are asking me to come and collect credit card. I don't want to. And I'm like, you will want. Because if you don't want, then you are telling me that you are not ready to achieve a lot of things, in the UK. So I had to, take her through a session of, understanding this debt, understanding leverage. So that said and that done, I'm going to talk to you today about the fundamentals of getting out of debt, and I will teach out of my book. So for some of you that know, I do have a book on getting out of debt. So today I'm going to be teaching out of that book, and just touching on some pointers that you need to know, and then answer a couple of questions. Then we'll call it a day. Okay, so talking about debt management, the first thing you want to know, or the first question you want to ask yourself is, who do I owe? And how much do I owe? So you want to start with, how much do I owe? Okay, because if you are not even aware of what you owe and who you owe it to, it's difficult for you to get out of it. A lot of people go and borrow money with the intention of not paying back. And that is absolutely wrong. You can't do that. You should not do that. Remember that we are saviors, and by reason of who we are, there are things that should not be known with us. So you cannot go out and a lot of people do that. I've seen that play out in very many scenarios where people go to borrow money and they say, I will pay back, but they know deep down in their hearts that they have no intention of paying that money back. So a lot of people are in debt today, and because times have changed a lot as well, people are not saying, I borrowed that money, she did not pay back, I'm just going to leave her to God. People are making demands and saying, if I have borrowed you money and you promise to pay me back, I'm going to make you accountable and pay back, And so people used to go out and borrow money. People need to go back and borrow money. Sorry, I thought that message was for me. It's not for me. People used to go out, borrow money, and they don't have any intention of paying it back. But that is not who we are, and that is not what we are going to do as a people. So we are going to today look at what are the steps that I need to take to get out of this, or what are the steps that your spouse needs to take to get out of debt, or what are the steps that you can support your friend through to get out of debt. So usually we'll say, okay, to get out of debt, these are the steps that you need to take. But before I get to the step, because the steps to take to get out of debt are the easiest part of it, but that is not the bulk of it. See, if I know that I have to make a budget, if I know that I have to make a list of how much I owe and who I owe it to, what's the interest rate and all of those things, that's part of it. If I know that I need a strategy to get out of debt, that is good. If I know that, but those are the easiest part of it. The most difficult part of it is to come to a place where you understand that this is a problem for me. You need to understand, why am I in this situation? How did I get into debt? I've said it many times and I'll say it again. Getting into debt is not an unconscious thing. It is something you did intentionally. And the only way to get out of it is to be intentional about it. Okay, so you cannot unintentionally work your way out of debt. You have to be intentional and focus your energy on doing it. And at times it looks like it's a huge debt, and it's even tiring for you to even imagine that you are owing so much money. And I know I've seen a lot of people in that situation where the mere thought of their debt gives them anxiety. Their heart starts palpitating. They start breaking out. You can see they start perspiring. You can see it on them that they are uneasy about the situation. Some people go into depression because of debt. So the first thing you want to say to yourself, or you want to do, is to calm down and accept that you are in this situation, because being anxious about it and going into depression about it is not going to pay it up. And I might sound like I'm a little bit harsh about the whole situation. I'm saying, well, this is what it is, and this is, but when you are in a situation like this, you need to You need to be you need to have that posture or that outlook of, I'm in a mess and I need to get out of it. So I'm just going to tell it to your face outrightly today. If you are in debt and it's causing your heart to palpitate, it's causing you to be anxious, it's causing you to be a little bit depressed or even a lot more depressed, then you are in a mess. And you need to get out of it as fast as possible, because really you need your mind and your being to be in the right place for you to move your finances forward. So tell yourself the story of why and how. Why did I go into debt and how did I even get into it? Because you need to tell that story. You need to be able to recount and retrace your step to the very beginning. How did I get to this place? What happened? What situation led to this? And I know that there are people who are serial debtors. So it's not because they wanted to become serial debtors. It's because they found themselves in a situation where they borrowed money with the intention to pay back. But things did not go out, did not pan out as planned. And so because they couldn't get the money to pay back, they borrowed from somebody else to pay this person back. So they became serial debtors. You borrow from one to pay off the other. So you are consistently borrowing. I know somebody who got into debt not because she wanted to. She was managing her finances and doing everything, but she took out of that money that she has saved for a purpose and borrowed somebody who was close to her, who said, I am in dire need. My wife and I need this. Please help us. We will pay back at this particular time. She took that money that was meant for something that was important to her and gave it to this couple. When it was time to pay back, they said we thought it was a gift, and they never paid back. And so for her to do what was important at the time it needed to be done, she didn't have any other resource. She had to go and borrow. And that spiraled into something else. And it took intentionality for her. In fact, before intentionality came into the situation for her, she was depressed, and a couple of friends had to, rally around her to say, we'll help you out with this. So they got her to a place where she's ready, mentally ready to face her situation. Mentally ready to face her situation. And that was how I got to meet her. So you need to understand, how did this start for you? What was the situation? And how can you get out of it? Because if you don't know the why, you can't effectively develop a strategy for the how. Okay, so you need to go into retrospect and say, this was what happened. This was how I got into this situation. How deep in am I? You need to ask yourself, how deep in am I? How much of a mess have I created in my financial life? Because it's important. If you think people just brush over their debt and say, Shebi is debt. It is when you actually begin to think about the implication of what you have done and how deeply in debt you are. That's when you know. Because somebody says, I'm only 5 million. Dangote is only 1 billion. But the situation between you and Dangote are two different situations. See, Dangote can afford to pay the 1 billion back because he has the resources that can offset it. The question is, your own 5 million, do you have the resources to offset it? Probably not. And the reason why it's still a deep mess for you right now is because you do not have the capacity to. So you now go about life to say, well, somebody is owing 1 billion. Maybe it's just 5 billion. It's just 5 million I'm owing. So why do I want to kill myself over that? You need to, I'm not saying kill yourself over it, but you need to do the right things. You need to accept that you are owing, and you need to ask yourself, if I were the person in the shoe of the person I'm owing or the people I'm owing, how would I feel? So if you are able to put yourself in their shoes, you will know that it's important for you to pay back. Because if somebody owes you 5 million, how would that impact you? How would that impact your family? Now imagine that you are now owing somebody. So think about the impact of that money that they do not have to use for their own family. Look at how that would impact them. And don't think about this person has it. Yeah, the person has it, and that's why they could borrow you. But they also have plans for their own money. The reason why they were able to give it to you is because you made a promise to pay back. And I've been talking about borrowing from friends and family. There are people who borrow from financial institutions. There are people who borrow from loan sharks. And that's even a different story altogether. Because now we need to start thinking about other dimensions to that debt. We need to start thinking about interest rates. And when you think about interest rates, it does not let your debt go down, it increases it. So take, for example, you have borrowed from a bank at 7.99% per annum. So it means that for every year that goes by on that money, you have acquired extra debt of 7.99%, or maybe like 8%, which is about 80,000 naira. So your money has grown from 1 million to 1,080,000. By the end of next year, that 1,080,000 is already breathing another 8%. So that money keeps growing. And before people know it, their 1 million has become 2 million. Their 2 million has become 3 million. And somebody who could not pay 1 million is wondering, where do I start from? Situations have not changed. My income has marginally increased over the last 2 years. So how am I going to pay this back? So when interest rates comes into the situation, the story changes altogether. Okay, so you are now asking yourself, what is the first thing I want to do? The first thing you want to do is not to start paying back, is to ask yourself, what mindset brought me into this situation? The first mindset of is national cake. I borrowed from a rich friend. He could have afforded to give me this money. He could have afforded to dash me. But you did not ask this friend to give you a gift. You asked this friend to lend you some money. Abi? And that was exactly what the friend did. So if you wanted a gift, the approach would have been different. So the mindset that it was a gift, but you asked for a loan, would have to first change. To say, yes, I asked this person for a loan, and this person did give me a loan. So I have to pay this loan back. You have to change that mindset that is not allowing you to pay back right now to something that will allow you to pay back. Because the mindset that is keeping you in debt cannot get you out of debt. So you have to first change the mindset. This is a loan. It is not a gift. That is the mindset. That is the shift that first needs to happen in your mind, so that you can now settle in and ask yourself, where am I financially? Okay, if I'm going to start paying this money back, I need to take stock of where I am. Then do a financial snapshot. That is the second mindset you need. Because if you are not peeping into your finances regularly, if you don't have a line of sight on what comes in and goes out, if you don't have an understanding of how much you make and how much you spend, if you don't know where you spend your money, you are not going to get out of debt, because you don't have a grip on your finances. And if you don't have a grip on your finances, you cannot control it. And if you cannot control it, it will control you. So it has controlled you enough to get you into that mess. To get you out of it, you have to control it. So that is the mind shift that first needs to happen. From I'm not paying to I'm going to pay. From not being in control to being in control. And finally, telling yourself, I have the capacity to do this. I have the capacity to do this. It doesn't look right now like you have the money. But if you tell yourself that you can, then you can. If you tell yourself that you cannot, then you cannot. So you need to be able to tell yourself, I can do this. I will do this because I owe it to myself, to my integrity, to my legacy, to do it right, to do the right things. So that is the mindset that you need to carry, that attitude that you need to carry into your finances. Then you need to change the limiting beliefs around your finances. So many of us have beliefs that have held us back, beliefs that allow us, beliefs that put us in a certain situation perpetually. So you are in you earn, for example, $500,000 every month. I like to, this is not about debt, but it's about belief. So I'm going to use my recent experience to explain something to us. So I used to earn a certain amount of money monthly. And it was not enough for the things I wanted to do. So I shifted my mind and entered into a different mindset that allowed me to increase my income. But somewhere along the line, a part of my income had to go. So my income reduced. So I was now relating my experience to somebody. And the person said, you know why I'm not bothered about whether you'll be fine or not? It's because I know you have a good grip on your finances. And it's just a matter of time. I know you will be fine. You know, when he said that, I thought to myself, well, I don't think it's wrong. So I just need to be able to do the right things that I've always done to keep me afloat financially while I balance out stuff. And when I began to think of how to balance things out, I began to come up with new strategies and new ideas. And this is how I need us to be able to look at our debts. We might be in a certain situation right now that is looking like, if I shift my mind to start paying this debt, I'm going to have to struggle. You don't necessarily have to struggle. And that is what holds a lot of people back from paying their debt, is because they feel life adjustments would have to happen that may not be palatable and would, might impact the lifestyle that I have currently. The question is, whose life is it? Yours or theirs? And this is one of the things that I think has helped me a lot in recent times, is to not base my life decisions on what other people would think. It's my life. And if I want to do it right, based on the values that I have, then I need to do the things that are right. Right for myself, right for my family, and right for this society. So, but first for myself. Because there is this adage in the part of Nigeria where I'm from, the Yoruba part of Nigeria, that says it's what the bird eats that the birds fly with. So it's first about me before it's about any other person. So because I want to maintain my integrity, because I've given you my word at the point when this situation started, that if you give me this amount of money, I will pay you by so time. That's a smart goal, right? This amount of money, this particular time, realistic, achievable. So this person believes that you have the capacity, that your goal is realistic. They give you this money in trust. So if I'm going to maintain that trust, I have to pay that money back, even though it's overdue. It's no longer the time when I said I want to pay it back. Praise said there are people who are owing him 12 years, people who have bought cars and announced that they have bought cars, but they are still owing him. It's because that person or those people have moved on to say, well, it's a gift. If it's not disturbing me there, it's not important to him. It's small money that I can overlook. But that is not the story people will tell outside when they are talking about you. Ah, you see that Tosin, don't go near her. If she says she needs money, tell her to go to microfinance bank. You are not a microfinance because she will not pay you back. So when stories like that begins to circulate, it begins to impact on the trust level that people have about you or towards you. And it begins to dwindle your integrity with others. And you don't want to lose people's trust, and you don't want to lose your integrity. So those two things are important to have. Those things are important anchors to have on your financial journey, especially in getting out of debt, to say, I have said I will do this, and I'm going to do it. Okay, so this will take us into what are the things that, please, when it's 20 minutes to finishing, please let me know so that I can touch on everything that I need to touch on today. So we are asking ourselves, getting out of debt. So what are the strategies? Because it's important to know what you are working at. It's important to know how you are going to do it, to get it done. Because if you ask me, getting out of debt, just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, so in getting out of debt, I'm going to talk about strategy, because the easiest part of doing this thing is to actually work out the plan that you have created. But before you can start working out of that plan, I've talked about the fact that you need to change your mindset. You need to understand what your beliefs are. You need to understand how you got into this situation, and you need to, write down who you are owing, what you are owing, and how much you are owing, and the ones that have interest rate and the ones that don't have interest rate. That is the easiest part of the journey. The most difficult part of that journey is the person that is going on that journey. The person that got into debt and the person that is trying to get out of debt are two different people. Because like I said, the mindset that got you into debt is not the same mindset that will get you out of debt. So if your mind changes, the person has changed. So the person that is going through the process of getting out of debt is different from the person that went through the process of getting into debt. And so those are two different individuals. And you need to work on the person that got into debt, so that that person is not the same person that is working through the process of getting out of debt. In working with the clients that I've worked with in past, and one of the things that is common to one of the common things that my clients will say is, Tosin is not easy, but she helps you to get the results. My role in helping you to get out of debt is to be your accountability partner. Help you to discover that person that got into debt, how you got into debt. Then help you to develop that strategy that will get you out. Then hold your hand through the 20% of the whole process, which is creating that strategy and working that strategy out on a daily basis until you are fully debt-free. So you need to get that. Then the next thing you want to do is to understand how much do you have to even start this process. Okay, I truly want to pay back. I truly want to pay back my debt, but I don't even think I have the funds to do it. People see lifestyle readjustment as a bad thing. People see lifestyle readjustment as a bad thing. Lifestyle readjustment is not a bad thing. If you need to readjust your lifestyle to your current situation, it is you being realistic. And being realistic is not an offense. So don't let people get you into a situation where you fake it till you make it kind of. That does not help you. It does not help your intentionality. So if all you can afford to put towards paying down your debt every month is a certain amount of money, because you have readjusted your lifestyle, kicked some things out for now, put some things on pause for now, and introduce some things. I'm saying do some things, this something. I'm going to, bring it all together at the end of the day. So the thing is, if you need to readjust your lifestyle, people see it as a taboo. People see it as something that is not nice. People see it as, this guy is gradually coming down, or this babe is gradually coming down. Babe and guy, you are not coming down. You are not coming down. You are facing your reality. And know, again, that your reality is not their reality. So don't let them judge your life by their own reality. Because really, if we unveil their lives, you might be shocked at the fact that their own financial situation is probably even worse than yours. I tell you. So don't let commentaries on the sidelines impact the game of life that you are playing. Because if you keep listening to those commentaries, you will not focus on your game, and you will not bring your A game into this journey. So if you really want to focus, you have to block the noise out of your journey. I've never been to a tennis court, but I imagine being on a tennis court and playing with my opponent, and people are shouting, on the sidelines. Am I going to focus on what they are saying on the sidelines to play my game, or I'm going to stick to the strategy I came to the court with? I'm going to stick with my strategy. I'm not going to let the noise that is going on around me change my strategy, or change my plan, or change who I am, or change what I want to achieve. Because it's not their game, it's my game. So when you understand that you are playing your game and you need to focus on achieving your outcomes, then you won't let the noise disturb you. So block out the noise. When you are done blocking out the noise, you have accepted that you need to pay your debt. You have found somebody, because the most difficult part of this journey is going through with the plan. Is going through with the strategy that you have developed. See, developing the strategy is the easiest part. You can go on Google right now and you find different debt strategies. Coming up with those strategies is the easiest part. You see, staying committed to the process is the most difficult part. It's 80% the person and 20% the process. So you have developed the plan. The person that's supposed to execute this plan, do they have enough willpower, enough commitment, enough determination, enough wit to go through with it? There's a concept called debt fatigue. And I've seen it happen to a lot of people. They start out and say they want to do it. I think the very first client that was introduced to me in 2016, 2017, we ended up not achieving much for this person. And in retrospect, with hindsight, I believe that was what happened to the guy. He started out, he was doing everything I was telling him to do. But it looked like his debt was growing because he got money from loan sharks. We have them in Nigeria. It's terrible interest rates every month. And he got this loan from them, and his income is not enough to even pay the interest, talk less of paying the capital. So the more he worked at it, the more his debt grew. And every opportunity for him to make more money seemed like it was not working. So at some point, he said, you know what? If this debt is what will kill me, it's better kill me. And it should even kill me fast, And at the end of the day, He walked away. He walked away from that process. He walked away from the loan. He walked away from everything. The next I heard was, he was out of the country. He was out of the country. And till today, I don't know if he went back to paying off that debt. But the truth is, at times you look at what you have to pay back. You look at the capacity you have to pay him back, and it looks like it's never going to happen. It will. You just need to stay the course. And there are ways you can, go from loan shark interest rate to a normal interest rate. It's called debt consolidation. And I might not be able to talk so much about debt consolidation, but it's something you can read up, okay? There are different ways to consolidate your debt. Some of them are good, some of them are terrible, and you don't want to get into terrible. So there are ways to consolidate your debt. Basically, debt consolidation, the easiest way to say it is you get a lower interest rate loan to pay off your higher interest rate loan. Simple. Or there are ways in the Western world that you can do it. You can get, if you have a home that has equity on it, you can borrow against the equity on your home and turn that loan that you got against the equity on your home into a mortgage. So mortgages are usually lower interest rate loans. So you can turn that into a mortgage and use that money to pay off your high interest rates. So your high interest loans. So those are ways to consolidate. Steps into getting out of debt. If you want to develop a plan, what are the things that you need to do? First, you have to, I've talked about it, you have to make a list of what you owe and who you owe and how much you owe them. If it does not have interest rates, put 0 interest rate in front of it. If it has interest rate, put the amount of interest rate that loan is. So for example, 2 examples. I borrowed money from Praise. I borrowed $100,000. He's not charging me any interest rate on it. So I put Praise-Fowowe. I'll put 100,000 and I'll put in 0 interest rate in front of it. Second one is I have borrowed money from a friend, but he runs a microfinance bank. So it says it's a personal loan, but I will charge you interest. The microfinance bank would have charged you like 5% per month, or let's even say 10% per annum. But because you are my friend, I'm charging you 5% per annum. So instead of getting it at 10% from the microfinance bank, you are getting it at 5% from your friend. So I'll write my friend, Gospel Umunakoi, $100,000, 5%. So I will list all of my loans that way. And who I'm owing it to, what I'm owing each person or each institution, or even if it's a credit card loan or a credit card debt, you have gotten a credit card, your limit is $10,000. You have spent the whole $10,000 and you are not paying back. You are paying the barest minimum. So if they say the minimum you should be paying on a monthly basis is $100, you are just paying that $100. But the interest rate on that card is 20.99%. So understand that your card will be generating 20.99% interest on a yearly basis. That's a terrible loan to have. So that loan, that credit card, is a high interest loan. You want to pay it off fast so that it can free up money for you to pay up other debts. But that's one of the strategies. I don't want to get into that right now. But I'm just letting you know that the different loans that you have, if it's a car loan that you have, put it there. If it's a personal line of credit you have, put it there. And you have maxed out your limit. So a personal line of credit gives you a limit of $25,000, for example, and you have spent the whole $25,000. And so they are beginning to charge you interest rate on that. You need to start paying. It's there. So I have listed like 5 loans right now that needs to be paid. Okay. So if you have loans either to your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister and you have not paid back, you need to start itemizing them and telling yourself they need to be paid back. And another thing I want you to do before you go too far is to develop a reason why you need to pay back. You see, if you have a why for why you want to do it, for going on this journey, it keeps you focused. Why do you want to pay back this loan? It's important to have a why. Why do I want to pay it back? Because it will improve my health. Somebody's asking me, how does paying back loan improve your health? It takes away the palpitation. It takes away the anxiety. It gives you peace of mind. Those three things will greatly improve your quality of life. So if that is the only reason you have to pay back that loan, it's good reason enough. So have a why. Why do I want to pay back this loan? What are the benefits of paying back this loan? It allows me to enjoy my family life. Because if all I'm thinking about is loan, my children says they want this, I'll just flare up. I say, the only thing you want, the only thing you know is want. Do you even know? So once you start flaring up, it starts reducing your quality of life. It starts to reduce the relationship, the quality of relationship you have with your spouse and your kids. So your family life begins to suffer. So if it's just for you to improve the quality of relationship you have with your family members, with your spouse and your children, your immediate family, and to improve your quality of life, those are two strong reasons to want to reduce your debt. So create your why. Put it in a place that is visible to you on a daily basis. When you wake up and you see the reason why you are going on this debt eradication journey, it energizes you because you need something to get you into vibe. You need something to increase your energy to want to go through with this. Number two, because I've talked before about understanding your cash flow, you cannot understand how much money you have to put aside into dealing with this monster that you have created. The way to do it is to review your budget, if you even have one in the first place. Excuse me. Is to review your budget and say, right now, I have only 2,500 naira at the end of each month, after all my bills have been taken care of and everything has been done. So put towards this debt. But if I use 2,500 naira every month to pay 5 million naira debt, it's going to take me this number of years to finish paying this debt. But if I increase that $2,500 naira to 5,000 naira, it will cut my 7 years to 3.5 years. Just an example. But I don't want to spend 3.5 years to do this. So it now helps you to sit down and look at all your expenses, look at the ones that are necessities, and look at the things that are not necessities, but they are good to have. Then you now start thinking, and this is where the lifestyle adjustments comes in. So if I stop eating out twice every week with my wife and my kids, or with my husband and my kids, and we start eating out once, I'm able to save 5,000 naira extra. If I take that 5,000 naira extra and put it towards the 2,500 naira that I have right now, it triples my capacity. Then it reduces the number of years that I have to pay this debt for. So I've released another 5,000 from my cash flow. So now instead of having 2,500, I have 7,500. Then I look at another item on my expenses that I can walk around. So basically at the end of the day, instead of having just 2,500 towards your debt, you have released or opened up 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 to fight this monster. You know, the more you do that, the more you pay down your debt, the happier you get because you are seeing results. You are seeing the result of your hard work. So when you are done releasing funds and increasing your cash flow. So your cash flow is no longer 2,005. Let's say it's now 10,000, for example. You now want to develop a strategy to pay down that debt. There are two types of strategies to use. Well, three types. Consolidation. But consolidation is not a total strategy on its own. Consolidation will still require you to combine it with either Snowball or Avalanche. So I will explain Snowball and I will explain Avalanche. So Avalanche is, you know how avalanches happen? It's like a massive movement of earth towards, at a very high speed, towards a certain direction or a certain location or something. So that's how an avalanche starts. So you look at your debt. So I have on that imaginary list that I created, let's say the biggest loan I have, or the biggest debt I have, is 100,000 at 20% per annum. Okay? And I look at that debt and I say, I'm dealing with this one first. It's massive and it's giving birth at a very fast rate of 20%. And I don't want it to move at that fast rate anymore. I want it to disappear. So that is the avalanche. I pick the biggest debt and I deal with it first. The problem with this strategy is that if you are not seeing results fast, debt fatigue might settle in and you fall back into your old self. And that's halts the whole process. Then you don't continue. Snowball, on the other hand, is you attack the smallest debt first, the one that has the smallest amount. So the one that is $5,000, I want to deal with it first. I take it out of the way. And because I'm putting $200 towards my $5,000, right? It will take me, please somebody help me with that math, some amount of months anyway to deal with it. Immediately I'm done with it, I put that money towards another debt. But the good thing about Snowball is, if I have $500 every month to put towards my debt, I will share out $300 to be servicing the remaining debts, but $200 to attack this particular one. So when I'm done paying this one, you see, I'll pick the next one, the next smallest one, and put this $200 plus the amount I'm using to service that debt. For example, if it's $50, I was putting towards that on a monthly basis before. So now I have $250 to put towards that. Then it means I have more money to pay that even faster. So this debt snowball is taking it, you know how snowballs, if you want to build a snowman, how it starts by taking a handful of snow and putting it together, snowball. In fact, I think if you remember when you were younger, there was this thing we used to do with balloons. When balloons get busted, we roll it up and we put another balloon to wrap it up. Then we look for another busted balloon to wrap it up. Then after a while, you have a big mass, a big ball of wrapped up balloons. That is exactly how debt snowball works. It's the same concept. You take a handful of snow, put it in a position and start adding snow to it. Then you create a big ball of snow. And that is what is happening with your debt. You are starting with the small one. When you are done attacking the small one, you take that money that you were putting towards the small one and put it towards the next debt that you want to attack. So that way, what happens is you are able to see immediate quick wins If it took you 6 months, for example, to finish paying off the first one, you are happy, you are more relaxed, then you focus on the next one. This snowball gives you quick wins that allows you to have immediate relief from your debt. Then, if you think, oh, this is not going to work so well, because this big debt is going to be a lot more difficult, you can now introduce debt consolidation into the process to say, let me look for a loan with a lower interest rate and pay off that loan with a big interest rate so that I can now take time to pay this off. That is where debt consolidation works with the debt strategy. That said, the last step in this journey is to ensure that while you are working on this, you are not taking any other loan, except for people who are doing debt consolidation. You are not taking any other loan, because if you keep adding loan to your loan, it becomes a problem to pay off. And another way to do debt consolidation, especially in the Nigerian climate or the less advanced climate, is to get no interest rate loan, zero interest rate loan from family and friends that gives you a bit of respite. So that would be your form of consolidation. Use it to pay off the bigger loans or the bigger interest rate loan so that you can now create a payment plan with your family or with your friend to pay back this zero interest rate loan. So that would be the strategy. But while you are going on this journey, debt consolidation, no, getting rid of debt is not something you want to do solo. It's something you want to do with somebody holding you accountable. Because if you are not accountable to that process, if you're not holding yourself accountable to say, this is what I have said I want to do by this time, you will not fully go through with it, or you will not fully commit to it. And if you don't fully commit to it, the day you don't pay what you are supposed to pay, you will justify it. And when you start justifying it, you will go back to that person that got you into that mess. Then you get yourself into bigger mess at the end of the day. Do I still have time?
Yeah, maybe about 5 minutes.
Okay, so I don't have time. I'll use the remaining time to answer questions. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you very much, TPF. Classic lessons in there. So much unpacked. Simplicity of words. If you have any question, please go ahead and ask your question. But there was something you touched on, which had to do with, change your lifestyle, right? Which is very tough for people to do, especially if you have been living in Lekki. How do you now move to Ajangbadi, or how do you move to, it could be very tough for some people. So how do you handle someone who doesn't want to change that lifestyle, maybe because, so let's say someone is in Lekki area, living in Lekki phase 1, is seriously in debt, the children are going to some expensive schools over there, they're getting into debt to pay school fees and blah, 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 knowing fully well that, if I follow this style of, adjust your lifestyle, it's going to affect the children's school, it's going to affect, how do they navigate those kind of things? Especially in the environment in Nigeria, where if you leave Lekki for, let's say, Ojodubega, it's almost like your own is finished. How do people, and there are, what I've just described, lots of people in Lekki axis and those areas are in this, on this WhatsApp group. Now, so how do those kind of people, how do they get help? Or is there a way that they can maybe change a few things that it doesn't become very obvious to the public that this person is running into trouble.
Okay. Sincerely, those set of people are the most difficult set of people to work with. And I'll tell you why. Because they are set in a way that they have set their mind in, they have locked up their mind in a pattern that, if care is not taken, would be the end of them. Let me put it that way. Is there a way they can readjust their lifestyle without it looking like things are finishing for them? Of course. So again, you have to go back to itemizing your lifestyle. It's an hard knock that they have to give themselves, a reality check that they have to do. Something that something that they need to sit down as a family to do. So what are our needs? What are our necessities? Their needs. They are a must do. School fees is a necessity. House rent or mortgage is a necessity. So we have to do all of these things. We have to do this, that is a necessity. We have to pay our bills, do this, do this, do this. What are right now things that we are doing in our lives that are nice to have, but they are not necessarily things that you need to have. They are not needs. They are wants that you are fulfilling right now. And I tell people, there is really nothing you can do about the needs. Well, there really isn't much that you can do about the needs. But your wants, you can do a lot with it. So itemize all the wants that are in your life right now, all your nice to haves, and ask yourself, what are the things that we can break out? Your journey, your yearly vacation, for example, can become every 2 years. The money you are not spending on vacation this year can go towards your debt. Education is a need, but is that school a need? If that school is not a need, is there any other school that is less expensive with the same quality? Now, remember the noise that we have to block out. The noise that you have to block out in this education part is the noise of, how can you take your child out of Grange and take them to Lebanese school? The Lebanese school is giving me the same quality of education at a cheaper rate. How is that your headache? I'm not saying drop the standard. I'm saying drop the price. Because there are equally good schools that are cheaper. But if it is the name and the prestige you are looking for, you will stay in that school and continue to mess yourself up and mess your family up. But when you sit down with your kids and say, this is what daddy and mommy needs to do so that you can continue to have this kind of life, you are selling to them. So when they are moving school, they are not moving school because daddy and mommy are in a troubled situation. They are moving school because that is what we need to remain good as a family. So is another question you want to ask in that scenario is, how much is their income? Is there another way they can make money? And that's one of the things I keep telling people. When you are in a situation where finances seems to be going, drawing a sinusoidal curve, you want to ask, is there any other way I can make more cushion income? And cushion income is income that allows you to take care of extra things. And it does not necessarily have to be another job. It could be a side hustle. It could be something, it could be a business that you can do presently. I have a friend, Motorayo Adefamoti. She used to have this concept called shame money. As I remember that one day we were having discussion and she was talking to a group of ladies and she said, what is your shame money? And is a concept I would like us to actually really think about. Shame money is when things are not going as expected. What is that quick business that does not fit your clout that you can quickly, easily do to make extra income? I used to tell people, I sold farm produce. I have a friend who was a farmer. When she harvests her yam, I've collected orders from people. They will deliver the yam to my house, and the people will come and pick from my house. It was not a TPF clout, but it was giving me a regular source of income at that time. I've sold what they call obe. I sold almost 500 cartons of obe, right? Making 1,000 naira on each carton. I have done things to ensure that there was, at every point in time, some form of regular income, especially if you are working for yourself and the business is not, generating income regularly. There has to be something else that is not your clout-related kind of business that can easily generate income for you. So if you are looking at clout income might not always come, but shame money is always available. So look for another source of income that can add to your cash flow towards helping you pay down your debt. It could be that thing that you want, and it could be a big business. Maybe you have a friend somewhere who has connection and can get you a contract and all of those things. Fine. In fact, that is even better. But that is 1 in a million. But we are looking for 1 in 1, which is your shame money. Your 1 in 1 is that quick business that you can do right now. Your friends wants to buy 20 cartons of something, and she's looking for a referral, and you need money. It's not a problem. I will call the person that knows that sells that, get the amount, and say, all right, I'm selling it to you at this amount. She's not going anywhere. You are delivering to her house. You have done a service. She didn't have to drive down from Aleki, whatever, to Agege Market or my 12 markets. You have done a service that you are worthy of payment for. A laborer is worthy of their income. So you have done the job. You have made money from that. Put it towards you. So there are things that you can do here and there. So if it's affecting your clout, or it's looking like it's going to affect your clout in the society or in your community, look for creative ways to manage it. Cut down your wants. Okay, so this year we are not traveling for vacation. We are not going to the abroad, but we decided to go to a resort in Nigeria that is not so expensive. We've gone on vacation. We'll come back home, see the extra money, we'll put it towards managing this debt. And if you keep doing that, eventually you will realize that what looked like a monster is not really looking much like a monster anymore. It's not looking like a dinosaur. It's not looking more like a monkey or more like a gorilla. So it means you are dealing with it. If you do that lifestyle adjustment for 3-4 years, depending on how much you are owing, you will see good results. And as long as you are seeing results, you are more encouraged to follow through with it.
Okay.
And that is what I'll say.
We have quite a number of questions here. What do you do if the debt is for business enterprise and things are now tough in Nigeria for small businesses? Do I go get a job? That's one question there. And now someone asking, how do you help a man whose business is not generating extra to pay his debt? 2 questions in one.
So the person seems to have answered the first question. Go get a job. There's no shame in going to get a job while you are still working on your business to come back to life. So go get a job. And I think one of the things that we need to overcome is the shame that people have attached to lifestyle adjustments. My business is not doing well right now, but I have a family that I need to cater for. I have debts that I need to pay, or I have salaries that I need to pay. First, you have to sit down and take Why is that business not doing right? What are the things that is bleeding the business? What are the adjustments that I can make in this business? If I have 10 staff and I don't think, and I cannot pay those 10 staff, I can tell them, you can get half of your salary and stay on, or I will have to let some of you go. So you have to do some business adjustments as well. But while you are doing those business adjustments, family needs to eat and things needs to continue happening at the home front. Get a job. Or again, look for things that you can do within the business that is probably not the focus of your business or what your business does regularly, but that can bring income into the business legally. Then maybe do those things as side businesses so that you can keep running the office or running the company until you find your footing on what is your core business. Again, you, the head of the business, do you need to be there 24/7 for that business to run? If you don't need to be there, get another job. Get another job that pays you income for now. You can get I don't know if it works in Nigeria, if you can get a contract job. But the thing is, so let's even not focus on Nigeria, because I think focusing on Nigeria is limiting us. You have skills that you can use. Those skills, another company in another country needs it. They don't mind if you are living in Nigeria, as long as you can deliver. So don't limit yourself to looking for jobs within. In fact, somebody sent me a document of how you can live in Nigeria and get jobs abroad. Okay, so look for ways that you can earn income beyond your borders. The world is a global village. People are doing their jobs that are being advertised on LinkedIn. And a lot of people are not even using LinkedIn for what they should be using LinkedIn for. There are jobs on LinkedIn. Just go and set up a job alert, remote anywhere. Not remote in Canada or remote in America or remote in Nigeria. Remote anywhere. Set that in your Google, in your LinkedIn. And you can go into job sites like Indeed, Monster, the likes of them, and set job alerts for remote anywhere. There are jobs that are called remote anywhere. You can be living in Nigeria and be working for a company in the US. They are called remote anywhere. So set up your job alerts in LinkedIn, on Indeed, on those job sites, and say to them, and put it there, remote anywhere. You will see recruiters that will reach out to you. If you interview and they choose you, good. If you interview and they don't choose you, you know that there is a market out there. And so you can even apply for more jobs. And when I remember that when I wanted to get my project management job, the person that was working with me said to me, apply for 10 jobs every day. I'm like, 10 jobs every day. But at the end of the day, I got the job. So if you think that you have applied for 3 jobs and you are handing it there, it's not working. It's not going to work, because you need to push yourself out there and spread your seed. Send out your CV, let them know that you exist, because you need to do that a lot. So if you have a business that is not making money and is in debt, go get a job, then look for other things that you can do within your business that might not be your core function or your core service right now, but can also, increase your cash flow and get that going for the business. Then another thing I would say is, if your business is owing, talk to your lenders and renegotiate your terms. Talk to your lenders, renegotiate your terms so that it's easier for you. That makes them to know. And that is one of the things that we don't do. We don't think that we can actually go to our lenders and have a discussion with them about what we are owing them and how we are going to pay. Okay, so those terms and conditions that we set out at the beginning is not working right now because of this and this and this, but I can do this, and this. They can rework your terms and conditions to fit your new reality. It's about sitting down and having a conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. Mrs. Lawal says I was doing like 20 to 40 applications daily when I was applying. Wow. I think we need to know that it's not out of place to go get a job. All this teaching about fire your boss has put people in all kinds of useless problems. You know, not all of us can be entrepreneurs. Some of us are better off working for people, and it's not a shameful thing to work for people. Okay, so I thought I saw a hand, something.
Gulliver.
Gulliver, yeah. Do you want to ask your question and unmute yourself, or it's been answered? Gulliver Apartment, are you there?
Good afternoon. No, we're just comments or contribution. I don't know if it's okay to share.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Good day, Praise. Thank you, Sister Hussein, for the wonderful presentation. For me, I run a service apartment in Lagos, Nigeria. And at the end of every month, I normally have bills to pay in terms of service charge, electricity, and diesel. Initially, I used to, when these bills come, I used to like gather money like 500, 1 million, and I'll just pay at once. But I started noticing that it was becoming too difficult to do. So this particular month in September, what I did was that I now said, okay, fine, the highest bill, which was over 1 million, I said, okay, I'll be paying 150,000 every day. Then the smaller bill, which was slightly above 500, I was paying 100,000 every day. So in the last 4 days, I've been able to almost clear out the bill compared to trying to get the money bulk in one account. They just settle it at once. Yes. So that was my contribution. So that really helped me to be able to do other operation expenses and still sort out my debt.
Amazing. Amazing.
Well done.
Well done.
Yeah. I think that to just add to what he said, when TPF said that leave, adjust your lifestyle, right? I think, I mean, I live in America. I work in America and I live in America. I can tell you for free that one of the things that kill the people, especially for people who are just getting in, when I got in, you know, one of the adjustments I made immediately was that I'm in America to work, so I don't need comfy chairs. So I did not buy any, right? I just bought a conference table, which is the most important thing I needed for my office. And I have a place where I can sleep, no TV, nothing, right? It was when one of my clients came and said, how do you unwind? I said, I don't unwind. I watch something on my iPad and say, okay, I know what to get. So you got me a TV, right? But I know people that got into America who have not defined what they're going to be earning, how their money is going to be coming, who went to rent a house, a whole house. And it's a struggle for many people to pay bills monthly. So I absolutely agree on the need to adjust. Who is coming to look for me, really? You know, and the interesting thing is only in Nigeria that you're showing off your house. You can't show off any house here, right? Nobody cares about. You are showing off the house that everybody knows that you have not finished paying for. I mean, it would probably going to take you like 25 years, right? Or showing off a car that everybody knows that you are paying small and things like that. So I think there's something about us that someone called me and said she needed money, she needed help. They've thrown her out of the house. She lives in Lekki. And the first thing on my mind is, what are you still doing in Lekki if they've thrown you out of the house? If you can't pay, leave Lekki. Whether you want to start your journey from Ajangbadi or from Ojodubega or whatever, why can't you go there? You know, but like she rightly said, let's defeat shame, guys. Let's defeat shame. Nobody cares about you. If you run into that, the land put you in jail or put your name out there, it's going to be on your name. So I want to appreciate you, TPF, for the amazing lecture today. What's your final word to that person who is listening to us, who is in serious debt, neck deep in debt, and is wondering, how can I start? What's your final word for such a person?
Okay, so before I give my final word, you'll see that on LinkedIn, I said on LinkedIn, on the chat room, I've put LinkedIn, indeed.ca or indeed.com, monster.ca. So the first three, you can create profiles and set job alerts for what you want. Then in the last two, which is Fiverr and Upworks, if you are a skilled person, so, a photographer, or you can do those things as side businesses, event planner, and all of those things. Put your services up there in Fiverr or Upworks, and set your payment and all of those things, and people can reach out to you to request your services from any part of the world. So if you go on Fiverr, you'll see that people from different parts of the world and all of those come there to look for talent and skilled people to do stuff for them, website development, graphic designers, and all of those things. So if you're looking to make more money or extra income on the side, use Fiverr and Upworks for your personal businesses. If you're looking for a job, use the first 3 to set your job alert profiles. What will I say to that person out there? If you do not have the willpower to go on this journey yourself, look for an accountability partner. Or buy my book, Getting Out of Debt, or watch out for my Get Out of Debt course that is coming on Seller soon. And then if you have never been in debt and you are thinking of not getting into debt, which is a very good place to be in, you might want to look at my 30 days money fitness challenge. Is going to be on Seller soon as well. So that helps you to always constantly have a grip on your finances and give you a line of sight on where your money is coming in from and where it's going out to. So it helps you to also, develop strategies around your financial life to be a better person. So if you are not in debt, stay out of debt. If you are in debt, you need to get out of it as quickly as possible. If you need any assistance, holla me at praise-fowowe@gmail.com, and I will be glad to listen to your story. Okay, so that will be my final word. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And TPF, you can help us put your social media handles and your email address on the chat box in case some people want to reach you. Thank you very much. Guys, you've had it all. How to get out of debt. Next week, we will look at abundance mentality, because that will be a final session. We need to have the mindset of abundance. And why that is critical is because money is motion sensitive, right? It follows after your mindset. I've entered the country with like $250 before, right? And I survived well, right? So we're looking at abundant mentality. So please invite your friend. It's our anniversary next week, and then we're going to be talking about our cooperative next week as well. Everything is almost set. Yeah, and we're ready to roll. So yeah, and our website has been launched. I think our admin can put it on the chat box as well. Please check it out and see what we're cooking, right? Thank you, everyone.